Hey friends, I want to talk to you today about traveling with your camera, with your laptop. Something I do all the time. We're getting into summer. It means you've probably got some photo trips coming along. And if you've got a newer computer, it may have either Thunderbolt, if it's a Mac, or USB 3 ports, either Mac or Windows. And the thing about laptops is we all travel with them. We need to use them. But even a majorly configured laptop, you're probably only going to get about a 1 terabyte drive in there. And when you're trying to download your pictures and review your images in the field, it's always a good idea to have those things backed up. And I like to work with an external drive, sort of for two reasons. One is that it's easier to carry with me. Second of all, when I put my pictures on an external drive, I don't need to clutter up my laptop. My laptop isn't my primary computer. So I want to talk about some cool options for external drives. Now, most of us go out, you can go to any of the big box stores, whatever, and you can get yourself a USB 2 or even a USB 3 portable hard drive, and those work great. And all portable hard drives are going to be limited by two things: their interface as well as the form factor of the drive itself. So, for example, I have this LaCie rugged drive. This is 2 terabytes, and it's got this nice rubber case. And I got this because it has a Thunderbolt port on it, a Thunderbolt connector. So it's going to have potentially a faster transfer rate than, say, a USB 3 drive would. But the limiting factor I've discovered, especially with these new fast cards, like this is an XQD card that I use in my D500. These suckers are fast, and what I'm finding is that the download speed is not limited by how fast I can read the card. It's in fact limited by the transfer rate to my hard drive. So I can get vastly different performance whether I'm transferring to, say, a RAID array or just a regular drive or a solid state drive. So solid state drives are just great, but they're super expensive. So the way I've configured my laptop is, and I use a MacBook Pro. It's got a 500 gigabyte solid state drive internally, and that's where my Lightroom catalog lives. But all my pictures end up going on some sort of external drive, and the reason for that is that when I get back home, it's very easy for me to transfer the images over to my main computer, onto my RAID array, get them all backed up into the cloud, etc. And I've got a video on my website. Just check my blog for how to move images from your Lightroom catalog on your laptop onto a different drive. So I wanted to compare some drives because there's some neat options out there. So I've got this Thunderbolt drive, and I'm going to just go ahead and plug this in to my computer right now so we can do some speed tests on it. So I'm plugging this into a Thunderbolt dock that I've got. But an interesting option has been recently released, and I found these on B&H, and this is this guy. This is a SanDisk Extreme Pro USB 3.1 interface memory stick. Now, this is a 256. They also come in 128, but I was thinking about it, and most of the time when I'm traveling, and I go through and I've gone through all my images, I rarely come home with more than, say, 120 gigabytes worth of image files. And, I'm going to prune those out anyway. So if you think about it, for any given trip, 256 gigabytes is probably plenty just to hold your pictures until you get home. And with this one, it claims to have speeds that are going to be comparable to a solid state drive. So that's interesting. So I want to do a little testing on these. So I've got one plugged into my iMac here, and I'm going to fire up a speed test program that I've got. And let's fire that up. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select my this 2 terabyte LaCie drive, which is where I keep a lot of images, and this is the Thunderbolt drive. So we'll just go ahead and fire up that speed test, and this is going to give me an idea of read and write speeds. So it's just going to tax the disk and see how fast it can go. Okay, so I can try this a couple different ways. We can give it different stress levels, but you can see I'm getting about a write speed of a little over 100 megabytes per second, and it's reading at about 60 or 80 megabytes per second. So there's 90, 100. So that's pretty good. Not bad. Remember, this Thunderbolt interface, even though it's very fast, it's still connecting to a physical spinning hard drive, so you're going to be limited by that speed. So we're coming out here with about 109, 110 read and write speed. Now let's try the same test, but I'm going to change it over to this memory stick here. This is that SanDisk memory stick, and we'll try this one and see what we get. Look at this. So we're getting read and write speeds of over 300, almost 400 megabytes per second. That's huge when you're transferring your files over from your memory card. In other words, this stick is so fast that it's really going to give you, it's not going to limit the speed. You're only going to be limited by the transfer speed of your card and your card reader. And so if you're out in the field and doing a lot of shots, this could be very useful. So here we're getting this great speed. And just to compare, I've got a solid state drive inside my Mac, so we can test that one too, just to see what we get for the regular boot drive. And you can see this internal Apple drive is just screaming hard fast, okay, because it doesn't have to use a USB interface. It's built in, so you're getting just crazy speeds. So remember, when you're out there, take a look. Consider not just the speed of your card, but the interface of the card reader. So if you can get a USB 3 card reader, that's going to be better. Thunderbolt, if you're on a Mac, is going to be faster, but still the drive inside is going to limit this. So take a look at that, check it out. If you want to check out these go the 256 gig SSD. They're not an SSD. The Extreme Pro sticks. These are about $130 at B&H. Not too bad. Pick up one or two, and you're going to be covered, and you're going to have a lot less weight to carry when you're on a plane. So until next time, I'm Jason Odell. Have a great weekend. I'll see you at my website, luminescentphoto.com.